cake. Here you go. Here, have some cake. Here you go. Take some cake, pass it around. Thanks for coming to my birthday. I appreciate it. I'm turning 90 today. Did you hear? Here you go. Here, have some cake. Take some, pass it around. Here's some cake. Enjoy. Thanks for coming. I love cake. Here you go. Here, have some cake. Here you go. Pass it around. Thanks for coming. Here you go. Here, have some cake. There you go. There you go. Thanks for coming. My name is Baribeau. My maiden name was Becker. Today is my 90th birthday party. I was born in 1921 on May 31st and I was the only child of Mary and Thomas Becker. And we were in Stockton, California. My parents moved here to Oregon soon after I was born. My parents bought an 80-acre farm just outside of Sublimity on the east corner of Silver Falls Highway and Victor Point Road. For elementary school, I went to Oak Grove School, which was a one-room schoolhouse with a bell tower right next to our property. Later, I went to high school at Mount Angel Academy, but because we only had a horse and buggy as our mode of transportation, it took 2.5 hours to travel between home and school. So instead of traveling back and forth every day, I decided to work for my room and board and stayed at the boarding school the whole year. I didn't get to see my family while I was at school. After graduating high school, I attended business school, and this helped me learn more skills that would eventually help me with my career. I began my career as a civil servant for the U.S. Department of the Navy at Tug Point in Astoria, Oregon. My duties as a civil servant varied quite a bit. I could be doing clerical work, administrative tasks, working in the library, even social work or public health, just depending on what was needed that day. I felt my job was really important because I helped support the efficiency of the local government. It was there that I was serving my country, as I was serving my country, that I met my husband-to-be, Ralph Baribeau. He had enlisted in the Navy and was stationed at Tug Point. We married in February 1949. Our first of 6 children was then born at Astoria. The summer after Robert was born, I received word from my mother that my father had passed away. He had a heart attack while he was herding sheep around the farm. My mother was not able to run the farm by herself, so the 3 of us packed up and moved to the farm to help her. While at the farm, we added Margaret Mary, Thomas, Ronald, John, and Annette to complete our family. Our lives mainly consisted of working, learning, and our family. Ralph took night classes at Cascade High School to learn more about farming and attended Chemeketa Community College to pick up skills in graphic design. We were always busy. I loved gardening, and while we were on the farm, my 1-acre garden fed us all. I taught my children how to preserve food so that our budget would stretch. I'd take the children out to the berry farms, or we would pick fruit up in the Silverton Hills. We spent a lot of time in the peach, apple, cherry, and pear orchards. We were 2nd-generation members of the Union Hill Grange Hall. Now, just so you know, the National Grange Movement started in Oregon in 1873. It was a way to help rural areas recover from the Civil War and to address issues farmers were having, like tight money, high railroad rates, the lack of effective communication between farmers. The Union Hill Grange in Sublimity played a crucial role in our local community. It was often the focal point of social events, meetings, and brought a sense of community to the area. I remember on Friday nights we would have our business and planning meetings, while on Saturdays, we would have social events. We would have dinner together, play a friendly game of pinochle, or dance the night away with our friends. We held dances, celebrated family events, and took pride in sending preserved food of our local farmers to the Oregon State Fair. Our Grange showed off our family's produce at the fair. And we would also enter baking, textiles, crafts, photography, talent all into the fair, and sometimes come home with cash prizes. The whole family benefited from the Grange. Our kids had youth programs left, like FFA, 4-H, Scouts, and Rainbow Girls. The Union Hall Grange helped us farmers by advocating for improvements to our rural roads, new technology for the farmers, flood control, and even gaining electricity to our property. Fun fact, even from the very beginning of the organization, they allowed women to vote, long before Congress did. We had a Grange Day at the state legislature, where we could discuss timely issues with the state representatives and the senators. We helped create Granger laws, which aimed to regulate railroad rates and grain storage fees. I even got my car insurance from the Grange. Union Hill Grange Hall was the center of our family's life for quite a while. In addition to farming and raising a family, Ralph and I both secured jobs outside of the farm. He obtained a job for the state of Oregon in their printing division, and I decided to take a job with the Bureau of Land Management, where I assisted with timber sales. I had learned to drive a tractor, but I had to rely on others to get to and from work because I didn't get my driver's license until I was in my 40s. We were very loyal to our jobs, and we both stayed with them until we retired. As far as farm life was concerned, we stayed long enough to save up for our own family home, which was just over here on Main Street. We were told that it was one of the very first homes here in Sublimity. And the story goes that it was moved from one of the farms outside of town into town. After we bought our home, we felt like we were part of the community here, and we wanted to be active members of that community. We joined St. Boniface Church here, where Ralph was a regular Sunday usher, and I became a member of the Altar Society. I loved sharing the roses that I grew at my house, and to bring them here to decorate the altar. I was also involved in the local garden club, the Professional Secretary Association, and the Home Extension Club. We owned a printing business in Staunton called RV Press. Ralph and I attended PTA meetings, we led Cub Scouts, we even did square dancing at Forester Hall. Our home was always filled with friends and family, and we never knew who might stop by. I spent a lot of time canning, making pies, and taking personal enrichment classes. So with so many interests and hobbies, life was never dull. But my favorite thing to do was to spend time with my 7 grandchildren. I knew God wanted me to be a servant to others, so I made a point of helping other people. Whether it was delivering a meal, visiting someone in the hospital, or just giving someone a phone call because I thought they might be lonely. I made sure to keep the parish country store stocked with all the canned goods I could possibly make, just in time for the annual chicken dinner. Even with all my busyness, I still took time to serve God. My dad used to say that you attend a person's final services, not for them, but for those left behind. And I took his words to heart. I attended pretty much every memorial service or funeral for everybody in the community, whether I knew them or not. And some people teased me about it, but when you serve God, you do what he calls you to do. And then I could also come home, call the kids, and tell them all the latest news. In 2004, Ralph passed away. I tried me to live with her family in Jefferson for a while. And as my health declined from diabetes and other issues, I needed to move to a group home and then a foster home in Stayton. But I was able to move back to Marion Estates in Sublimity just in time for my 90th birthday, where here my friends and family are throwing me my big birthday bash. So I'm so proud of all my children. It's so nice of them to throw me such a nice party. Each of them has lived a life full of purpose, passion, and love. My oldest, Robert, is an abstract expressionist artist living in New York City, creating beauty and meaning through his work. My son John lives in Texas, where he once sold insurance and also owned a historic bed and breakfast, the Culver Hotel. His brother Ron, a gifted chef, ran the kitchen there. Ron's culinary talent was also recognized far beyond our family. Some of his recipes were published in the Sunset magazine. My son Tom, who left us too soon at the age of 52, is buried here with me. He is forever in my heart. He was a juvenile counselor and a youth advocate for challenged youth. My daughter Margaret Mary worked as a dedicated home health nurse. She lives in Jefferson, surrounded by her loving family of 3 children and 4 grandchildren. My youngest, Annette, still lives on the original family farmstead. She raised 3 children and now delights in her 21 grandchildren. She served for 45 years as a social worker, making a difference in countless lives. Each one of them has carried our family's legacy forward in their own way, and I couldn't be prouder. I've had 90 years of love, growing in wisdom, and seeking quiet strength from the Lord above. My prayer for you is that your life is filled with peace, joy, and the warmth of a life well lived, like mine was. I hope you too will one day hear the words, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." God bless you all.